Pretty whoopee.
It's getting hot out there, so it's cool and no,
No,
that's wrong.
that's definitely wrong.
It's getting hot out there, so take off your clothes. No, that's not right either.
No. I
No,
mean, it kind of applies to CrossFit, but no.
no, it's getting hot out there, so come join us in the cool air.
Nice.
I feel like this is it's like a dance party, which just keeps getting worse and worse. And I'm sober, so yes, it is like a dance party, and it is getting worse and worse. Like it's just not. It's not okay.
That was a weird laugh. Yeah. Well, it's getting Nelly up in here. Oh, it's getting hot. Right? Nelly?
No.
Oh,
No, I thought you were gonna sing.
I thought I did.
Did you?
That's my singing. I don't look. I can play a little bit of guitar. I can play a little bit of trumpet. I can dance.
And you can dance.
I don't sing. I used to sing. I used to be a really good singer.
Okay. What are we singing? What were you singing about?
Heat.
The heat?
How hot it is.
It's not hot in here. We have air conditioning in our gym.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hot right now.
It's actually really, really cold in here.
I love it. It's fantastic.
It's
hot
cold.
coffee, cold AC.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm Coach Tanya.
I'm Coach Mertz.
Welcome to the Affiliate Soapbox. So let's talk about it. It is getting hotter outside, right? What's the temperature supposed to be today? My watch says it's currently 70. It's supposed to get into the 80s. Is that right?
Well, it's right now at that time of year where it's the overcast comes in, it's rainy, right? It could be last
humid,
week.
Humid.
Last week it was Wednesday, right? Like Tuesday was a beautiful day. Wednesday, I remember walking out in the morning and at 5 o'clock in the morning, it was just like, boom, a solid door of humidity and just nasty, right? And you could tell when that happens, people's attitudes get a little rougher. I'm melting in the sun.
I feel also I just feel like you deflate, like you walking outside, you're ready to have a good day, and then you just get suffocated by heat and humidity, and you just start to deflate, and it's like, I had really good intentions for the day.
Yeah.
And boom, gone.
I mean, it is. It's when it's this time of year and you're getting these huge temperature fluctuations, and the rain comes in, the rain's gone, the sun will come out, and then like Sunday, it was like Mother's Day was supposed to be rainy all day, and it's beautiful.
Day before, raining all day. Absolutely. So we've got these weather fluctuations, and we know we're going into the hottest part of the year.
Yeah.
And this is why when I looked at different locations for the CrossFit gym, I decided we need air conditioning. Hands down, no question.
Not a bad idea.
That was literally my main point. I had the real estate agent show me. He's like, well, this would be great. Does it have air conditioning? No. Then no. I went through that for about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I, as a coach, had spent the last 7 years both doing CrossFit and coaching athletes in CrossFit classes. And as a coach, I'm standing there just drenched, and I'm not doing the movements other than demoing and correcting and cueing. I'm moving around the gym to correct and help athletes.
Yeah.
But as far as actual output of work, nada. And I'm basically drenched, and I'm getting home and I have heat exhaustion, right? Just because even if I have water and I'm sneaking behind the whiteboard to have a snack, I can't keep up with nutrient and electrolyte intake. I can't keep up
clothing.
With hydration.
You had to bring like three pairs of shirts with you.
Exactly.
One for working out, 2 for coaching.
Right, because you got to switch shirts every few hours before people start noticing, oh God, coach, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was bad enough, but then the athletes themselves were watching their performance start to slow down drastically. We're watching them get into danger zones because they're so hot that they're approaching heat exhaustion themselves very quickly, right? In a very small amount of time within that hour. and you're just wondering how much ice do I have in the freezer in the
Oh,
back
what
with
about
cold
when
packs.
it does rain and you got to close the doors? The wind is pushing the rain in the doors. You got to close the doors.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my
raining in
God.
the gym. So then you got the
Uh,
water coming in.
you
It
got no, the only wind flow you have is the fan you may have.
maybe if you have a bunch of fans,
Yeah.
the big ass fans, if you will, that were
Yeah.
either on the ceiling or they'd be, around the room making so much noise that they couldn't hear you talk when you had
Yeah.
them on.
I remember full bore when we were in division, they had one of those fans, but it was broken.
Oh
And
God.
that little, I mean, it was very low ceilings,
Hmm.
and it was, oh God, nasty hot in there. That was probably one of the hottest gyms I've ever worked in.
I think I want every time I worked at a different gym or worked out at a different gym in this city, a CrossFit gym, I told myself the myth, well, it's not as hot as the last gym I was in, right? But that was never true. Until we got our air conditioned facilities we have here, that was never actually true. But it was this
No.
myth you told, oh, well, the setup of this gym is different. The garage door that's always open over there is set up differently than the one over here. So there's more air. No, there wasn't. There was no
Yeah.
more airflow unless it was a windy day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
hot. It was nasty. It was
But
humid.
like you said, you can definitely tell um, the power output and just just in terms of just a generalized workout going from hot to cold or cold to hot, I should say. It makes it a lot harder to get into that rhythm, right? Because look, you watch people in the middle of a workout having to go over by the fan, just leaning on the fan, just trying to just trying to breathe, right?
Fighting for that spot in front of
Oh,
the fan.
right.
People getting in our small arguments because so and so is always by the fan. Well, I want to be by the fan. Well, this new person just set up by the fan.
Yeah, let him have it. He's new. Leave him alone.
Can't have all that. But yeah, performance. The first thing you do, you walk in and it's 95, 100, verging on 105, 110 degrees the last several summers, right? As we get into July and
Oh yeah.
August. And you walk in and you're just already fatigued. Like the heat has taken the motivation out of you, that little bit of energy you had out of you. You're automatically tired. So you're not going in with the best mindset.
And with that being said, you will not be able to achieve in that workout what you can when it's 70 75 degrees.
No, not
Yeah.
whether it's a beautiful fall day, spring day, or really nicely air conditioned facility.
The AC allows you to get more reps in, which means more work production.
I agree. So let's talk about it scientifically.
Okay.
Okay. When we exercise in high heat conditions, right, it becomes a severe challenge to our cardiovascular control. What does that mean? It means that our muscles and our skin start to compete for blood flow. Okay. And initially the muscles win. So now you're getting more blood flow to keep those muscles and
Yeah.
vital organs moving, but you're getting less blood flow to your skin. When you get less blood flow to your skin, it starts to impair sweat evaporation, which is exacerbated by that high humidity, right?
Oh
So
yeah. Right.
initially, you can't sweat as much, but your muscles are still moving and your vital organs are still working. But because you can't sweat as much, your internal temperature starts rising. And once that happens, you do start fatiguing faster. And then you start losing that muscle efficiency and risking injury.
Yeah. Not to mention like brain.
Oh, your brain, yes.
Yeah. Not to mention your brain.
Abby who? Abby normal.
I mean, speak on that a little bit. I mean, obviously, like, so as our blood flow is being recuperated to move to different areas of our body to accommodate for this heat exhaustion, the brain being one of our major organ, right?
Really important.
It can definitely like I think I saw in one of the studies where on site of like early dementia and things like that can happen.
Absolutely. So the taking exercise out of the equation, just chronic high heat exposure,
Okay.
right? Let's just talk about that baseline. If you're just out in the heat a lot and you're not even exerting yourself to an extreme extent or to in any sort of intensity that we would measure. So that kind of chronic exposure actually reduces gray and white matter in your
Oh,
brain. It alters the structure of your brain. Okay. And increases overall biological aging in your body,
yeah.
right? Which is terrifying. But that high temperature because it exacerbates the aging overall, right, and increases the biological aging, means you have decreased brain volume, more so than you'd usually have. So now
Wow.
your brain is getting older and smaller, and the structure is changing at an accelerated rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you go to the beach and like people that live out the beach,
They're just laying out,
they're just laying out and
no
their
shade.
skin is dry and crumbly and
God, that's a horrible picture.
I mean, it's a real thing, and I mean, look, we're obviously inside of a gym, so we have to worry about the sun exposure, and just about any CrossFit gym, you're typically
At
indoors.
least, yeah, you potentially have shade overhead,
Yeah, yeah.
unless we're
So
out
we have to
running.
worry about the
As
the
you don't have to
old
worry about
the
as
the
much.
old person beach dry skin. You don't have to worry about that so much. But with that being said, it does affect your skin too, to a certain degree, does it not?
Yeah, well, I mean,
What just working out in the heat.
everybody wears sunscreen for a reason, right?
Sure.
So the sun damage that you're getting to your skin, but when you're out in the heat, if you're losing a lot of water, right, you're sweating a lot, yes, your skin is drying out, right? And your skin needs to stay moisturized. We just talk about that word that we hate, being moist. Your skin needs to stay moisturized. The more quickly it loses moisture, the more you become wrinkled. And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
you look older. But I mean, I think we're not talking so much about looking
Yeah.
older
Yeah.
as we're talking about
Well, I mean,
everything
and I
inside.
mean, and to that point, I mean, look, CrossFit does wonderful things. It does keep us young, looking young,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, and
Feeling young. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we're not saying that. Oh, if you're working out in a non AC gym, that you're going to look old. I mean, CrossFit in of itself is going to battle that anyway.
It does. It helps battle all kinds of conditions.
But with that being said, it does help blood capillaries kind of flow, right? So as you're doing CrossFit, and whether you're in the heat or in the AC, you're going to see capillaries grow regardless. So
Well, you're going to see the health benefits
yeah,
regardless, right? You're going to see things like lowering glucose levels
sure.
in your sugars, right? You're going to see the ability to take less medications. We just did a post about that. Natalie, she's fighting POTS. She's
Oh, she
fighting
looked amazing. And
PCOS, right?
you did that post the other day. No, she's doing
Yeah,
great.
she's not just looking great, right? She's lowered her her levels of thyroid medication. She's lost 14
And
pounds
that's why we do
overall,
this.
several
And that's why we
inches,
do this.
right? She's lowered her A1C levels. So CrossFit overall is great, but we're talking about the risk of continuing to do CrossFit and any intense exercise. It could be kids out doing football practice
Oh
in
yeah,
August at 114 degrees outside, right, with very little rest periods and no shade. We're talking about the effect that has continuing to do that in non-controlled conditions without air conditioning, without the rest and hydration that you need, and the effect that has versus the old school, way of we're just going to push through, or taking advantage of the fact that we have access to air conditioned, climate controlled facilities,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
if
yeah.
you have access to that, why take the risk?
No,
Why?
yeah, and that's one of the reasons. Like when I opened up my garage gym, and after coaching and working out in here, I was like, yeah, there's a thing. Like I was the guy. Like I was the guy that says when I see somebody get AC in their gym, I'm like, bunch of. Can I say that?
It's the myth that if you're not doing CrossFit or another challenging workout in the grittiest, most
Yeah,
disgusting,
it's
most health challenging conditions possible, you're not getting the most out of
right.
it. You're not tough. You're not cool. You're not doing it right.
Yeah, but then you look at gyms up in the north where look they if you in you're Chicago. Chicago goes through extreme, heat to cold, extreme cold, and they do just fine with it because most of their gyms are heated and AC'd. Just I think we have this thing down in the South where we're just like, if you're not working out in a grungy, hot gym, you're not doing it right. But gyms up north don't deal with that like we do down here.
No, I think it comes down to people being in this relationship with their gym, like they're in a relationship with people, right? You're in this damaging, unhealthy relationship,
Yeah.
whether it's with a significant other, whether it's with a friend, or whether it's with an organization such as your gym, and you're used to either being treated bad, you're used to bad conditions, you're used to your needs not being met, right? Or even considered
Yeah.
with air conditioning, with clean bathrooms, with equipment that is maintenance, right? So when you're used to that, and presented with something better, in your mind, you'd rather stay in that comfort zone and you make all kinds of
Yeah.
excuses. Well, I'm fine in the heat, or yeah, again, you're not cool. You're not working hard enough. You're not going to the extreme you need to go to
Yeah.
if you go work out in the AC, when in fact, you're risking things like heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, all to be cool, all to stay in your comfort zone. And you're not the only one assuming that risk. If you've got a family, now your spouse and your kids are also assuming the risk because you're going to go, try to be cool and work out in the worst environment possible.
Yeah.
And now they're risking, well, dad, mom, grandma, they might not make it through the end of the week. They might end up in the hospital. They might be injured. Maybe they can't go to work.
No, yeah, and look, I think, let's lead into this a little bit. Like, it matters on what your goals are too, right? I mean, in most cases, and majority of cases, people are coming in work out just for life, just to feel better in life, to hit those internal goals, being blood numbers, markers, things like that, or just being able to pick up their kids and play with them, right? But if you, let's say, have a goal of, let's say you want to do a marathon in the Moab Desert,
155 miles.
Hobby Desert in Moab, right? So yeah, I mean, you can't train in this environment and expect to do well in that environment.
No, you're going to show up on day one and be done.
I mean, it definitely matter on what your goals are. You may need to get outside and work out a little bit if your goal is going to be, let's say you're doing a 24-hour run in whatever in an outside environment. Yeah, I mean, you do need to get outside and acclimate to that adaptation. But again, majority of us, 90+% of us, are just working out for life.
Again, it depends on, is it you and I who are not planning on going up and trying to compete for
Not at the moment, no.
a life-changing prize, right?
Yeah.
Or, is it someone who that has been their lifetime goal and they're going to go for it? Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, look at the military, right? So if you're going to be working in Afghanistan, going on tour over there, yeah, you definitely need to acclimate yourself over here, go into work, go and train in the Mojave Desert to get prepared for that. It's obviously that the military does that for a reason. But going back to that, the goal of them is to win over in that environment. We're not looking to win in the outside environment here as much, say, as just trying to, again, live that life. So, I think, we're really what it comes down to is that comfort, like you're saying, being able to come in, get a workout in a controlled environment, walking out the door, going home, be able to cook dinner, do whatever you got to do for the rest of the day. Whether you, and my point is this: is that how many times have we, when we worked out in the non-AC CrossFit gym, and we get home and just want to, like,
You're worthless. Yeah. At the end of the coaching day, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly what that might have been our rest day as far as a workout, but we coached all day. And yeah, look exactly like that.
It's just done, just wiped clean. Whereas nowadays, coaching and working out in the AC, I feel great afterwards. Like, I have no problems doing whatever I have to do afterwards. In fact, I did one of the open workouts. As soon as I finished the open workout, I went out in my garden and started digging up a palm tree out of the ground. There's no way. There's absolutely no way, if I did that open workout in 95-degree heat, would I be able to go outside and start pulling palm trees out of the ground.
That's an excellent point, and also an excellent example, because we talk about CrossFit should be getting you ready for life. It should be enhancing your life. It should not actually be your life. Yes, we have a great community. We make great friends, and that extends out past that 1 hour class, past the gym. But doing that workout should not impair you from doing other activities. So
Sure.
that's something that's huge. If that workout in that extreme condition is preventing you from digging up a palm tree if you have a palm tree you need to dig up. Or
They're
for
not
me,
easy. They're
right,
not easy, by the way.
doing the laundry, cleaning out your car,
Yeah,
going grocery shopping, whatever it is, then that is not actually enhancing your life. It's taking away from it,
sure. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
No,
how much is it really worth even just sacrificing these basic things to work out and think and see yourself as tougher, to give into the peer pressure saying, well, if you need AC, you're not a real CrossFit athlete or not a real athlete overall. Actually, you're just a smarter athlete because you're taking advantage of the ability to stay safer, to stay healthier, to be more comfortable. And I think we've talked about it in here. We call it CrossFit for grown-ups, CrossFit for the rest of us,
yeah,
because honestly, don't we all have enough going on in our lives that we shouldn't need to overcome extra things
yeah.
to do a CrossFit workout? We shouldn't have to think, man, okay, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to do something for myself for this 1 hour, but it's 105 degrees and the gym is dirty. There might be rats. I don't know if I want to use the bathroom because it hasn't been cleaned in 20 years. If you have to think about all of those little things going into a workout, are you really doing something for yourself at the end of the day, or as well as you should and could be doing it at the end of
Well,
the day?
I think you hit the point right there. Is how well could you be doing it?
Right.
Right. It really. I mean, in like I was saying before about working out in northern temperatures. Look, it's my first experience of working out in AC was in a northern temperature gym. It was in Colorado. It was pretty hot outside, dry as shit. Altitude's up pretty high, but I like here I am on vacation, and I finished the workout up, and I go home, take a shower, back to where I was staying at, go take a
Mhm.
shower. I'm out on a trail right after that. Um, yeah, I mean, look, it's uh, the ability, the AC gives you the ability to be able to do things outside the gym post workout that you normally there's just no way. Even coaching, like you were saying, many mornings I wake up in the morning, coach the first couple classes in the morning, go to work, come, maybe coach in the evening. And then I might not have worked out one time during this whole day of events for me. And I'm just done, just exhausted from the heat. And a lot of times, like going back to life outside of the AC gym that you're working out in, there'll be many days like after that full day of being in the heat, coaching, going through it, and guess what? The weekend comes. The wife wants to go do this and that outside. I'm like, no, it's got to be I want to get
Oh
an
yeah,
AC building because I am so done with the heat. I don't have that problem anymore. I don't have that problem of saying, oh, you want to go outside and go run? No problem. You want to go do this outside? Whatever it is you want to do outside. Because back in, for years, it was always, oh God, I don't want to go out in the heat, baby. Let's do something else. I don't want to do that.
because the exposure, the
The,
daily extreme exposure to these
yeah.
conditions
was
was
was where
wiping you out.
wipe you out. Will wipe you out. So it's yeah, it gives you it gives you ability to have the life outside, the ability to go outside in the summer to be able to do things because you're not dead from being in the heat all day.
Or even just that hour to hour and a half a day. Even if you're just an athlete, right? You're not a coach, you're an athlete, and you're coming that hour and a half. But again, if you're doing that every single day for 4, 5, 6 days a week, you're much less likely to go to Hogs for a Cause,
Yeah,
to go right, to go to the Pride Parade,
one
to
of my
go to Essence. Like it's all
exactly. One of my best friends, he's a landscape architect. He's outside in the heat all the time, and me and him did cross together for years and years and years. But it got to a point where it was just too much for him. It was just too much to be in the heat outside working, then having to go inside of a hot gym doing a CrossFit workout, dying. It wore out on him, and eventually it was like he ended up quitting CrossFit because he just couldn't handle the heat exposure all day, and then work out and at 5:30 p.m. more heat,
more heat, right?
and then yeah, it would just wear
And
you
I think
out.
it's also a bar too for certain people to start, right? So if you especially look at athletes who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, or masters athletes, we're already, as we get older, our body's losing efficiency in all of our systems,
Sure.
right? So we're already aging. I mean, of course, we're aging sooner than that, but the aging accelerates. So our systems are already functioning less efficiently. So if we talk about the ability to sweat is already decreased. Okay. The ability to stay cognitive in extreme conditions is decreased. The ability to mentally react and understand and completely stay engaged through the class is lessened in when you're in extreme conditions because everything is starting to slow down. We're coming to CrossFit to fight aging. We're coming to CrossFit to make aging less of a obstacle for the rest of our life, right? To slow it down, to fight it. But if you're introducing someone in that's already experiencing difficult physical conditions
Yeah.
to a CrossFit gym or to a non-CrossFit facility that doesn't have climate control, first, health-wise, are you really sure how that it's that safe for these athletes? Is it comfortable for
Potentially
these
not. No,
athletes,
no,
right?
not comfortable at
So
all.
we're
Yeah.
we're working to make people stronger. We're working to make people more functional, working to increase longevity. But if you start at a negative, right? If you start at a handicap in conditions, you're less likely to A, keep that person engaged or get them in the door or to make as much of an increase as you could.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And look, and going back to performance value of that, this stuck in my mind. I know we did kind of a heat podcast, when we first started doing this, and I think I might have told this story before, but um, I, I I remember doing this workout, me and a couple of coaches, and we came up with this workout we called it Combat Carrot. Basically, 1 mile run, 150 wall ball shots, 1 mile run, all with a weight vest on. And we did it in the middle of August. And I just remember doing like 10 reps of the wall ball and having to go hug the fan, and then do another 10 wall ball shots, hug the fan.
Mhm.
And that workout, I mean, I felt like it was one of the worst workouts I ever did. And then, maybe a year later, I was in the spring, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna program this for the gym. Let's do it." So I programmed it on a Saturday. It was nice and cool. Wow, I mean, I didn't have to hug the fan at all. I finished the workout like 15 to 20 minutes ahead of what I did in the summer. So the production there was extremely different from the heat to the non-heat. I was able to do better with the cool gym as opposed to the hot gym. And that just goes to show you that you can actually get more production done inside a climate controlled gym than you can not in a climate controlled gym. And look, we're working out. We want to be able to produce high reps, high volume, heavier weight. Nothing worse in the world is when you're dying in the gym. The heat is on you. You're trying to hug the fan as much as possible, and then let's say you're trying to put, um, you know, uh, you're trying to put the max amount of weight over your head, and one little slip, one little whatever you get, because look, it'll wear you down to a point where your breathing becomes so much harder. Your ability to keep midline stabilization becomes even harder. And next thing you know, you just drop into weight because you're just physically, mentally is done. And why not go into an AC gym, be able to produce like you normally can day in, day out without worrying about the heat?
It goes back to basic CrossFit goals: increased work capacity across broad time and modal domains. The ability to do more work, right, across any time frame, any time period that we decide to test. And then whether it's weightlifting, whether it's a Metcon with weightlifting and a cardio element involved, whether it's simply rowing one day, right? So exactly that.
Yeah.
Are we most effectively increasing that work capacity if we're putting ourselves in environments where we have to think harder? It becomes increasingly harder to maintain form. We can't maintain focus. We know that we're becoming dehydrated. So we have to focus on now I have to overhydrate, right? You're very uncomfortable and you're just not working as efficiently as you can.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. I mean, that's a great way to kind of end it there. I think there's nothing more to be said than the value you get walking inside the AC gym to be able to produce your best self through that hour without having to worry about hugging a fan.
Exactly. The last thing I want to be hugging.
That's, I mean, like, or just fighting to get in front of the fan. I mean,
That
yeah,
battle, that's always a
that battle to get in front of the fan. And then next thing you know, you got all like you have 5, 6 fans laying around the gym. As a coach, you can't even hear yourself talk because the fans.
Right. There's more fans than you have room for athletes. You got a fan in every corner, fan in the middle of the floor.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy. I
yeah.
don't think it's gonna work.
Like I said, I went out and got me an AC heater in mine because at CrossFit and Spirit because oh wow, it just feels good to be able to produce every day without having to worry about the heat. It's smart.
That's
It's
what
smart.
We're here to be smarter, faster. Right. And then have athletes always say, turn on the fan, coach. Can we turn on the fan, coach? Can we turn on the fan, coach? Yes. Yes, we're getting to that. When that becomes the most important part of the whiteboard brief. Folks, do you have any questions? Can we turn on the fan? You really haven't heard anything else I said.
No, right? Right. They got like the whiteboard brief. You got to turn the fans off, and
And all
it's
they're
like,
thinking about is
they're like, when do you turn the fan back on? When do you turn the fan back on?
Folks, I'm Coach Tanya.
I'm Coach Mertz.
This has been the Affiliate Soapbox. Please like, share, and follow. We'll see you next week in the AC.
I like it. Yeah, yeah.